Okay.
Google Classroom is getting tired of us.
I know. I'm getting tired of Google Classroom too, but we are switching over to Canvas on Monday. That's something new. So if you are on Google Classroom, doesn't matter which class, all the classes look the same. You can either scroll down to today's lesson where it says Wednesday, or if you click on the classwork tab, it's at the top for this week, Wednesday, Mouse Chapter 2, Part 2, and open the Google Doc. Okay, so we have some questions today. Just like yesterday, I think there's 5 questions total, as you can see. And we are gonna start off with reading. Okay, so whoever was on the call yesterday, or if you did the work on your own, and so you're caught up on the reading, type into the chat for me and tell me what you remember from yesterday. This is not where we are. Actually, there's only a couple of us today. There's like 10 of us. So if you want to talk, you can just, what do you remember about yesterday? We've got Artie and his dad. What do we know about his dad?
He takes medication.
Good. He takes medication. He's got a lot of health issues.
Dad was talking about.
What was that? Say that again. Was that Eric? What else do we know about his dad, aside from the fact that he's got some health issues?
He don't like talking about his wife.
Yeah, good.
His old wife.
Yeah, okay, good. So there's part of him that's like, you know, I don't want you to put this in my book, me telling you about my old girlfriends and stuff. That has nothing to do with World War II and the Holocaust. So we know that his dad was in the concentration camps and survived World War II as a Jew. And that's kind of where the book is leading us, but we really only learned about his background. What did we learn about Artie's mom, who is Vladek's wife, Anya? What did we learn about her yesterday?
Oh, she was translating. Oh, no, wait.
You got it. What was she doing?
She was like undercover, like telling people, going back and telling people what was going on.
Yeah, okay, so a couple of things, right? She, oh, I got 2 more to admit, yeah. So she kind of like undercover, I guess, against the government. She's translating these messages for the communists. And Vladek, her husband, obviously gets really mad, tells her she needs to stop doing that. She also is experiencing a lot of depression right now. And so at the very end of where we left off on page 33, they were taking her to a mental health hospital to help her with her depression. And we were kind of finding out, as you can see on my screen, that when they're on the train ride to go get her help at the mental health hospital, they keep hearing about all of these things in Germany that are happening to Jews. And they're like, we hope this doesn't come to Poland. Like, it's just happening in Germany right now. Hopefully it doesn't really affect us. So we're going to pick up from page 34, which if you're looking, don't look at the top part here. You need to be looking where the page numbers are on the bottom of the PDF. So 34. The sanitarium, again, that's the mental health hospital, was far away from everything. So peaceful, so quiet. Look at how beautiful these gardens are, Anya. People came from all over the world with different sicknesses. There was even shops here, a theater, really beautiful. Our room was like a luxury hotel. Look at this view. Each morning, nurses would visit to Anya. And each few days, I talked to the big specialist at the clinic. Well, what did the doctor say? He told me, you're doing fine, just relax. I understood much of such sicknesses, so I helped always to calm her down. Look, we got a letter from home today with a photo of Raichu. Let me see. Remember, that's their little baby boy. He's a handsome boy, just like his father, yes? Yes. Page 35. In the evenings, we went either to the theater or to dance in the cafe. Did I tell you the tragedy about the pillow my family lost at the start of the 1914 war? I was 7. We lived too close to the border. It wasn't safe. I told her many jokes and stories to keep her busy. So we took what we could on a wagon pulled by 4 horses and went to my grandfather's home in Radomsko. Someone rode past us and told us that we dropped the pillow a few miles back. A guy traveling to Amsto picked it up. Imagine, my father never rode a horse before, but he unhitched one from the wagon and rode toward Amsto. We waited and waited. Mother started crying. Surely he fell and got killed. She begged him to let the pillow go and take all of our troubles with it. The horse was bony and didn't have a saddle. Finally, later that night, Father rode back with the pillow under his bloody tuchus. So Father got his pillow back, but he couldn't sit down for the rest of the war. I love you, Vladek. And she was so laughing and so happy that she approached each time and kissed me. So happy she was. So not only is he telling her these memories to kind of like keep her in good spirits because she's depressed, but also shows us that they were willing to go back just for that pillow that they lost. So this idea of we need to hang on to everything we have because we don't want to lose anything is really important at this time. And it's going to follow us through the story. Page 36. And he's talking about the mental health hospital. We stayed maybe 3 months. And when we came back, Anya was completely different from when she left. Yoo-hoo, Papa. Anya, you look like a million. Listen, Vladek, I didn't want you to worry while you were at the sanitarium, but brace yourself. The Bielsko factory has been robbed. What? It happened last month. They took everything. That's where the factory that he owns. Aye. I didn't even have time to insure it before we left. Well, at least I can help you build it up again. Were you looted as part of some kind of anti-Semitic activity? Keep in mind the word anti-Semitic. We're going to come back to that. I don't think this was it. It was just a robbery. Like when they robbed us in Rigo Park here last year. Well, in Bielsko, my father-in-law helped us again to establish ourselves. In a couple of months, we were well off, quite well off. A working factory, a 2-bedroom apartment, a Polish governess, and even a maid. Look, Raichu, Papa's home. You look upset, Vladek. Yes, there was another riot downtown today. Everyone yelling, Jews out, Jews out. Even 2 people killed. The police just watched. It's those Nazis stirring everybody up. When it comes to Jews, the Poles don't need much stirring up. Mrs. Spiegelman, how can you say such a thing? I think of you as part of my own family. I'm sorry, Janina, I didn't mean you. I'm just worried. So now we're starting to see that the Nazis are coming to Poland. They're not just in Germany anymore. Maybe we should move away like some others have. If things get really bad, we'll run back to Sosnowiec. Well, why would Sosnowiec be better than Bielsko? We thought then that Hitler wanted only the parts from Poland like Bielsko, what used to be parts from Germany before the First World War. We're on page 38. We were very happy still for over a year until August 24th, 1939. A letter from the government, a draft notice. I was in the Polish Reserves Army, and so I had to go right away. It was a big confusion. Everyone knew it would be now a war. Quick, pack everything. Your father will take you to Sosnowiec. Vladek, I'm afraid. Grab your knickknacks and your doll collection. But those aren't important. You'll see, you may enjoy them. I was right. When things were worse later, she was able to sell such things. So Anya and Raichu and the governess went in one way to Sosnowiec, and I went in a different direction to the frontier against Germany. So this is when Vladek gets drafted as a soldier, 39. And on September 1st, 1939, the war came. I was on the front, one of the first 2. And again, this is present day, so he's talking to his son again. Twice I spilled my drugstore. It's my eyes. Ever since I got my left eye, the hemorrhaging and the glaucoma, it had to be taken from me, and now I don't see so well. And now I have a cataract inside my one good eye. Do you see how I have to suffer? I told you about the big shot specialist that was going to operate me. He last year put me into the hospital for an immediate operation. And then he just left me. He went somewhere away to give lectures on the television. My eyes started so bleeding, I had to run out to find a doctor in a different hospital. There, another specialist operated right away, otherwise I could have died. So now it is a glass eye. He did a good job, no? One time, even a young doctor came to my bed there in the hospital. He looked with a light a long time in my eyes and told Mr. Spiegelman, your left eye is perfect, but in your right eye is cataracts. He didn't know, of course, that the left eye is glass, and I didn't tell anything to him. I didn't want to make him an embarrassment. You told me about that. Again, so we're seeing where Artie isn't really caring about his father's health and the stories he tells him. He really only cares about the World War II stuff. Well, it's enough for today. Yes, I'm tired and I must count still my pills. Okay, good idea. My hand is sore from writing all of this down. So that's the end of chapter 2. We know that starting tomorrow, chapter 3, his dad has just gone off to war in World War II. So we're going to be picking up with the actual war tomorrow, and things are going to kind of get started very quickly, getting very scary downhill from here. So let's flip over to our questions for today. Let me see the chat. Deshaun, I did not get your message. Did you remind message me?
Mr. Lucia.
Oh, I see it. You're on a road trip to college, so I can't join. Well, that's fun. What college are you going to? You're on unmute, Deshaun, so you can just talk. Or you can unmute yourself if you want. Emery and Henry, that's cool. Nice. Well, enjoy. Thanks for stopping in. If you want to keep listening, you can. Otherwise, thanks for letting me know. All right, guys, question number 1. We saw this word. Oh, somebody's loud. We saw this word, anti-Semitic. And it's to have prejudice against Jewish people. So when we see this in the passage, what's up?
It won't let me enter into that document.
On the Google Doc
Like,
and Google Classroom?
Yeah.
Is anybody else having an issue with that, typing into the Google document?
No, like
No.
it can say loading.
No.
It might be your internet. Maybe try refreshing again.
Hi, Ms. Davizzi. Have a great day.
Hey, you too, Deshaun. Okay, it's where, sorry, I'm trying to find it, guys. It's where he finds out they were robbed. Oh, here we go. He finds out that the factory was robbed and he said, were you looted, this is on page 36, were you looted as part of some kind of anti-Semitic activity? I don't think that was it. It was just a robbery. So we know from the definition that it's prejudice against Jewish people. So Artie is asking his dad, were you rooted or did people steal stuff from you and rob you because you were Jewish? Or did they just rob you just because? So question number 1, how do you think anti-Semitism, so this hatred for Jewish people that the Germans had, how do you think that's going to be an influence in the rest of the novel? This does not need to be a race strategy, guys. You can just tell me in your own words. It's a personal response. So based on what we've read and what you know about World War II and the Nazis, question 1, again, you're going to tell me, how do you think this hatred for Jewish people, anti-Semitism, how do you think the hatred for Jewish people is going to be an influence on the rest of the novel? Go ahead and put in your answer for question 1. And if you want to put it in the chat, I can give you feedback. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes on that. Again, this is in your own words. You do not need text evidence for number 1.
Well, it was the Nazis that was getting robbed, right?
No, his dad is Jewish. So when he comes back from the mental health hospital with his wife, they find out that their factory was robbed, and they're Jewish. So then he's asking his dad, like, were you robbed because you're Jewish or were you just robbed? Yeah. So the question, how do you think this hatred for Jewish people is going to be an influence on the rest of the novel in your own words? Yeah, Leighton, that's a good answer. Tell me a little bit more what you mean by that. Like, what kind of havoc, what kind of issues do you think we might see? Anybody else want to put it in the chat? I'm going to give you maybe 30 seconds to a minute more if you want to run your answer by me. I can give you feedback. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, what do you guys think? I know some of you are on mute. If you want to unmute yourself, Edixon, let me read yours real quick. Yes, yeah, Edixon, that's a really good answer. What do you guys think? Somebody tell me, how do you think that this hatred for the Jews is going to influence the rest of the book?
I think we're gonna see more death, like more than getting killed later on.
More of the Jews getting killed. We see it's starting to like just be robberies and just be beatings right now, but you think we're going to see more murder? Yeah, that's probably likely.
Yes. For example, if they need help in the hospital or sanitarium, how they call, maybe they're gonna be kicked out because they're Jews.
Yeah, yeah, okay, good, Edison. So maybe we see them kind of getting kicked out from their home or having to leave their home because they're Jews. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, good answers. Let's move on to question number 2. Compare and contrast the asylum, the sanitarium, that mental health hospital that she stays at with the rest of the country and what's going on. So if you're going back to that was on page, it starts on page 34. The sanitarium was far away from everything, peaceful, quiet. Look at how beautiful the gardens are. And especially right here, people came from all over the world with different sicknesses. There was even shops here. There was a theater. It was really beautiful. So it's peaceful and quiet. And he says that people came from all over the world as well, not just from Poland for this place. So if I'm looking at the question, it wants you to compare what's going on at the mental hospital with what's going on in the rest of the world during this war. This one I want you to use the race strategy on, so it's probably best to find a piece of text evidence on this page, on page 34, to use for your race strategy. I'll give you guys 2 minutes for that one. Compare how the mental hospital is compared to the rest of the world with the war starting, and use text evidence from page 34 to support your answer.
Ms. Bevicia,
Mm-hmm.
for race strategy, restate the question, right?
Yes. So you're gonna.
So right, like a compare and contrast, or just the sanitarium?
So you can just do like compare. When I compare the sanitarium with the rest of the country, I notice blah, blah, blah. Or when you compare the sanitarium to the rest of the country, it seems like ... and then answer the rest of the question from there. All right, take about 1 more minute, and then if you want to type it into the chat. Again, make sure it's the race strategy. So tell me what you notice when you compare the mental hospital with the rest of the world and what's going on. In the text it says, and pull a piece of text from page 34, and then this shows or this means. All right, do you guys want to put your race strategies in the chat, or do you want me to move on to question 3? You can either say it out loud or put it in the chat. Let me know if you want me to move on or if you want me to hold on a little bit so you can put it in the chat. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you guys 1 more minute. Make sure you guys do the full race strategy there because that is part of your grade. John Laney, how are we doing today?
Well, I just woke up, so I don't feel it.
You made it before 11:15, so that's good. Ayana, Amanda, Layton, how are you guys doing? Do you need more time?
Yeah.
Okay. Edixon, that's such a great answer. I love that. Guys, I'm going to read out Erickson's answer. Obviously, you can't copy his answer, but I want you to hear what this looks like because this is a really good one. He's comparing that the sanitarium is a peaceful place where all the races can come to get and help, but in Germany, they hate the races, and so they won't help them. I know this because the text says people came from all over the world with different sicknesses. This means that the sanitarium is popular there because people are visiting from all over the world. Yeah, I love that idea that they're getting help there from all different races, from all different people. Even though in Germany, there's such hatred for other people where they only want to help German people and they believe that everybody else is below them, beneath them. Yes, Jason, that's a great R and A. So now you need in the text it says, and go pull text evidence from page 34 to prove that. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on to question 3. But if you want to go ahead, if you're still working and want to put it in the chat, I'll check in a few minutes. Question number 3. And if you're looking on my screen, you'll see it. What does the author emphasize about the sanitarium, about the mental health hospital? A, he emphasizes how peaceful and secluded it is compared to the rest of the country. B, he shows it is possible for different races to get along. C, he stresses the negative influence of the sanitarium on Anya. D, he wanted to use more characters to make it more confusing for the reader. This is a tricky question because A and B, okay, I think I see what the answer is. This is kind of a hard question, y'all. Sorry. I think I didn't make this clear enough when I created this question. Somebody talk me through this. Why do A and B both sound like good answers?
A and B.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at this right now and thinking to myself, why did I create this question like this? A and B both seem like good answers, right? So somebody tell me why.
Yeah.
Both are in the text and they can be the correct answer maybe.
Yeah.
And because they said all people come from different places and get along. So.
Yeah, exactly. Good. I think the answer that's supposed to be right here is A, peaceful and secluded, because it's saying it's right here on my screen. The sanitarium was far away from everything, so peaceful, so quiet. However, I do see on here, where'd it go? I do see it possible for different races to get along. I mean, it did say on there that people came from all over the world with different sicknesses to get help. So I can see how B could also be an answer. So I will accept either answer for number 3, A or B is fine. But I do think A was supposed to be the right answer there. All right, number 4. How is Anya's father represented in the novel?
I forget that one.
Yeah, he's a very minor, he's a small character. He's the one that comes in and tells them that the place has been robbed. So let me scroll down to that. Here we go. So he picks them up from the train station when they get back from the mental health hospital, and her dad says, listen, Vladek, I didn't want you to worry while you were at the sanitarium, but brace yourself, the Bielsko factory has been robbed. What? It happened last month. They took everything. I didn't even have time to insure it. And then he says, well, at least I can help you build it up again. So if we take a look at that question, as someone who is a loving family man, as someone who often uses money to fix problems, as someone who is concerned with his health, as someone who is hardworking.
It's A or D.
So think back, this is not his dad,
C.
It's her dad. Okay, so this is kind of tricky because we saw him a little bit at the beginning of the novel too. Let's see if I can go back and find it. Right before they get married. Here we go. Not only this, hold on. Father-in-law paid the cost from the lawyers and gave her some money. It cost maybe 15,000 zloty. So that was the girl that got arrested. He gives her money. At the same time, he did for us even more. You know, Vladek, when you and Anya give me a grandchild, I want him to be well off, so wealthy. I almost have enough money from the sales trips to start a textile shop. And her dad says, a shop? You ought to have a factory. And Vladek says, that would cost a fortune. And the dad says, please, I can give you the money and plenty of credit. And then he starts the factory and he visits Anya every weekend. So let's take a look at this one again. As someone who is a loving family man, someone who often uses money to fix problems, as someone who is concerned with his health, as someone who is hardworking. What do we think the answer is, y'all?
B or D?
Yeah. So we do see that he has a job and connects people, but money seems to be the first thing he does, right? When the girl gets arrested, he wants to give her money. When Anya marries Vladek, he's like, let me give you a factory and give you money because I want my grandchildren to have money. And then again, during this one, when he gets robbed, he's like, oh, it's a good thing I'm here. I can give you money and I can help you get started again. So B. There's a couple of places in the book that we just talked about, so you guys can go find right now. Maybe take the next minute or two. Go find a piece of text evidence to prove that her dad, his father-in-law, Anya's dad, often uses money to fix problems. We just looked at a couple of those. You guys scroll back. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to find a piece of text evidence, and then you can put it in the chat.
Wait, what page did we stop at?
So we saw it in the reading today, and we saw it a little
29.
bit yesterday as well. I want you guys to go find it where the dad is talking, her father-in-law. We see some on 29. We see some on 36. Hey, if you guys have people talking in the background, you can mute yourself, and then if you want to talk, just unmute yourself again. All right, I'm going to give you guys maybe a minute or so more. Yeah, Edixon, that's a good one. If you want to put in your text evidence into the chat, I'll tell you whether it's good or not. Ayana, that's Vladek talking to Anya, like the husband and wife. That's not her father-in-law. You want to go find a piece where her dad, Anya's dad, is kind of giving them money or solving problems with money. Look on page 29 and 36. Alicia, yeah, that's a good one. Him kind of like fixing everything up and taking care of money for them. That's a good one. You okay, John Laney?
I was yawning.
Oh. I'm gonna give you guys maybe 30 more seconds if you want to put it in the chat.
This is way too hard.
Eric, it's not hard. I told you what pages to go back to. Go look at page 29 or 36.
Okay.
You're finding where he's talking about, so like where he's using money to solve a problem, her dad. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on to question 5, but if you are still working on number 4 and you want to put it in the chat, I'll come back and check it in a minute. Number 5, last question. What is the best way to describe Vladek's opinion of doctors? So that's from the whole last few pages that we read with the doctor talking about the eyeball. Yeah, that's Artie's dad. Yeah, he's kind of like our main character, the one telling the whole story. So from this whole section here at the end, talking about doctors, he says, it's my eyes. Ever since I got in my left eye the hemorrhaging and glaucoma, it had to be taken from me. I don't see well. He's got the cataracts. I told you about the big shot specialist that was going to operate on me. He last year put me into the hospital for an immediate operation, and then he just left me. He went somewhere away to give lectures on the television. My eye started bleeding. I had to run out to find a doctor in a different hospital. There, another specialist operated right away. Otherwise, I could have died. So now it's a glass eye. He did a good job, no? But one time even a young doctor came to my bed there in the hospital. He looked with a light a long time in my eyes and told, Mr. Spiegelman, your left eye is perfect, but in your right eye is cataracts. He didn't know, of course, that the left eye is glass, and I didn't tell anything to him. I didn't want to make him an embarrassment. All right, so looking at how his dad sees doctors. A, he is a doctor himself. B, he wishes they were more dependable, but has one surgeon that he trusts. C, he does not trust them and wants to take charge of his own health. D, he is very sick and sees a doctor regularly. Go ahead and put it in the chat for me what you think the best answer is. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the right answer here. Looks like we're between B and C, guys. If you go back to the text, pay close attention. Yeah, most of you are getting it right. Good job. Yeah, guys. So the correct answer, again, if I go back to this part right here, his eyes started bleeding, so he left the one doctor, goes to a different one. There, another specialist operated right away. Otherwise, I could have died. Now it's a glass eye. He did a good job. No. So our best answer is B. He wishes that the doctors were more dependable, but he does have the one surgeon he trusts who he said did a good job on operating on his glass eye. So B is our best answer for that one. All right. Do you guys have any other questions about today's lesson?
No.
No.
That's all?
That's it. Yeah.
No,
Not
that
too
was
much.
easy. I thought it
That
was
was easy.
Yeah, it was just like a 30-minute lesson today. Again, I want y'all to keep in mind though, starting Monday, instead of doing 4 30-minute lessons, Monday through Thursday, I'm gonna do 2 one-hour lessons. So Monday and Wednesday are the only days I'm gonna post from now on, but they're gonna be longer. They're gonna be like twice the reading and twice the questions. It'll be a full hour long, but only twice a week.
I think that's better because just for 2 days instead of Monday to Friday.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to work better for you guys. I think it'll be better for us teachers to have a little more balance. But I'll be posting the schedule for you guys on Google Classroom. I know some of your teachers have already, so that you guys can see when you're supposed to be working on what things and when we're going to be doing our Zoom calls. But
For the next week?
That's going to start on Monday. So today and tomorrow, I am still obviously doing lessons like normal from 11 to 12. On Friday, we're going to do another one of those fun Fridays with me, Miss Bednar, Mr. L, and Miss Cheeseman on Friday morning.
Oh, who won?
We're going to announce it on Friday. On the Zoom,
right.
we'll announce it. And we are actually going to have pizza delivered to that person
Oh my God.
during the call on Friday. So that'll be cool. And then
I'm gonna make everyone see me eat it so they can be jealous.
You think it's you?
I had so much hand sanitizer. Does that count if you have multiple?
I think so. I need to double check with Miss Bednar. We're meeting tomorrow to tally up all the results, or meeting online. Anyway, so yeah, but next week, guys, for all your classes is starting where you have twice a week lessons posted on Canvas, and they're going to be an hour long instead of 30 minutes long. All right, y'all, I am going to stop.